She said she would be starting at 8:30. She actually left at 8.
We're live. Okay, we're back. Oh, we're back. We're going to pick up right back where we left off with Tessella helping the bumbling halfling buffoon who's dropped his letters and spilt his water all over them. They're finally drying out a little bit, and even though some of them are still a little bit soggy, kind of just puts them all back in. He gives you another bow. He bows like 4 or 5 times in a row. And he goes, Tessella, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, it was very simple. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. You didn't even hold the pose.
I held it for the most part.
Up until you got onto the stool, which I admit was a little difficult. So you did relatively well.
Thank you. Oh, I mean, coming here in the day is no problem. It's just, I don't know. You're not bothered by that music?
No, it felt kind of good. Why, does it scare you?
A little bit, yeah.
Because it's loud?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's loud? And then just like... Oh, come on.
Don't tease me like that.
You can handle it. That's the thing. There's nothing... It's only sound, you know? Just tune it out.
All right. Well,
if you keep your internal calm and like quiet, the external loudness won't bother you.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks again. Look, I got a few more letters I gotta deliver, but I can do it myself. I'll even do the pose.
I think it'll help you. But if you need anything and you see me flying around, give a shout and I'll push you back into shape. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just don't push me too hard. All right.
Did I this time?
Yeah. Yeah. You're way stronger than you look.
Get going. I'll see you.
Okay,
I
bye.
have to get flying. Bye.
And he takes off down the dock and stops at one of the warehouses there and goes inside. At this point, you are free to head off to the fortress, where you can explore a bit of the beach here. But as you're doing that, we will jettison ourselves across the ocean to a ship sailing towards the island. The Curionimbus, as it reaches the Great Divide. All of you have been aboard this ship for the better part of, let's say, a month together. You've had some time to get to know each other. Is there anything in particular that you guys would have liked to have done or ask one another or learn about each other?
We said last time that we would each come up with a thing about each of the other characters that we learned.
Yeah.
So I guess this is me volunteering to go first.
There you go. Yeah, we can do it right now, basically.
You know that person who reminds a teacher about homework?
This is good homework.
Damn.
That hurt a little because I was that kid.
I appreciated it because he's at least going first. Now I'll think of something.
Yeah. I totally thought of something too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Rowan, I think, going about the duties of the ship, does medically tend people. So if anybody got like a blister or a burn, like from rope or anything, like maybe some of the guests I think he would have been there to help patch it up, apply a salve or apply a bandage. Anytime that something needs cleaning up around the deck, he would be there kind of helping. So I think that he would basically get to know, each person a little bit, or have a moment to speak with them. I think for Borbo, the thing that he would probably pick up is the fishing, because there's no way that Borbo didn't fish, and I think in that whole time. So I think that Rowan would ask you, what it's like to be a truffle fisher, like what it is to be a fisherman, something that he hasn't experienced.
Do I answer now?
I don't know if you have to answer me, but I would like you to.
Oh yeah, sure. So Warble's like style fishing, the way I imagined it, was basically he would actually swim, less of like kind of reeling in fish. He would dive, kind of almost like a deep sea dive, with kind of like a rope, so he doesn't get lost. And since he's a pig, and also very heavy, he's extremely good at diving deep, especially with his strength. So it's kind of like he senses where the fish is and kind of has a burst of like a deep, aggressive burst with like a spear, and then he'll like stab a fish. So it's kind of like it's not like a mermaid where you're swimming like consecutive long periods of time underwater. It's more of like sensing and attacking, kind of like spearfishing, but like the intense version.
His whole body is the spear.
Yeah. He's the boar.
Hell yeah. Then I think for Trevor Boom, Rowan would probably be really interested in Trevor's communication style with the magical instrument. So I think Rowan would want to learn just a little bit about that. Probably ask you, how it is that you can speak through such a thing.
I think I'll use that opportunity to reveal another little secret as we kind of bond over it, and I'll communicate with you telepathically.
Oh, so interesting. I mean, Rowan is delighted. Yeah, and I think the only real question that he has about the telepathy, other than the joy of this new experience, is, can you read thoughts?
No, I cannot read thoughts. I'm not that skilled, but I can impart my own, and a willing creature can relay their thoughts to me, I believe. I can form a link with somebody. But that has nothing to do with the goop tam tam. That is a relic of my home, Regismir. It was basically
very useful. How very useful.
Yes.
I have a
This is
thick
the
accent.
voice that I portray when I'm speaking to you telepathically.
Well, hold on, wait. So do you have a different voice telepathically? Like,
This is the voice that Trevor thinks in.
It's just your normal speaking voice.
Which is just my normal speaking voice.
That is so
maybe
funny.
a little softer. But when he plays, because he recorded the voice of a very specific person, using the power of the goop tam tam, and now he's able to replay these noises. So he does play a bunch of instruments, but he basically learned to play these instruments just so that he can play new noises on the goop tam tam.
Very interesting.
And so he uses it kind of like, not a ventriloquist, but like almost like a computer to input words and sounds.
Very cool.
It's a mixing board. It's a DJ set.
DJ soundboard.
Yeah.
Incredible. And then I think for Ika, Rowan would. This is kind of maybe out of left field for Ika, but after having seen you Scrabble, like agilely go up the rope when the captain had talked about it, Rowan would maybe propose to you one day, basically a sparring session. It says, would you kindly be interested in having a sparring match up on the deck I feel my reflexes grow dull without combat in such a long voyage, and your whip seems perfect for you to try and hit a moving target.
Didn't take you off a roughhousing top, but why not? Wouldn't want to stay rusty anyways on this long journey of ours. And I think on top of that too, with like sparring matches and Ika, who isn't reckless but likes to push herself. I wouldn't be surprised if she visited often to get those scrapes and bruises patched up. So
Heck yeah. So yeah, then what's that you would tell Rowan over that that period of time? Because I think one thing that he would learn quickly is that you're a fairly agile fighter, and what he's interested in, and what you see him watching all the time is your whip. It's just like not a weapon that he would see often.
right. I mean, I would not be shy to tell him about my upbringing and living life as a rancher and all those good ranger skills that I've picked up from ranching.
Hell yeah, he'd listen. He listens to any story that you have to tell about that style of life.
I feel like eventually, as Ika gets closer to not only Rowan but the rest of the cast and crew, that eventually she would leak in a little bit about her vanishing husband, and not necessarily too much details because she doesn't know exactly who to trust and who should know what. But she would definitely open up a bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first time that you say it, Rowan is very quiet and listens to you, and I too have experienced loss. And well, if ever you need to spar, you just let me know.
Nothing like a good fight to get my mind off of things. Thanks, Warren. Yeah, good pal.
He like smack you on the or like pat you on the shoulder like too hard.
Just like a finger tap. I'm like 2 feet tall.
Incredible.
Which
so I think that's Rowan for the voyage. Sorry, you were going to say something.
If I might interject, I was just going to say, I think it'd be funny shenanigans with Borbo and Ika, just the juxtaposition of their heights, and I feel like she would just like start a conversation just like based on that. And mighty tall fella, ain't you?
Yeah, I was literally gonna ask. I literally wrote that in my notes. How does it feel to be small? That was like a whole like dialogue of, I guess, like the difference between 11 feet and I don't know what 3 feet or what, and like just like how like the world perceives you and stuff. Like very like try to get into a bit more of the philosophical questions and stuff regarding height, I guess.
I think that'd be great too, because like we might even find common ground in that, and like vastly different like ways that we live, but at the same time we both have like a growth I don't know what to call it, handicap in this world.
Yeah, people look at us in a funny way,
Trevor like can get like tall like 6 foot and can also go down to like 3 feet. Like he's like, I don't know. It kind of I'm whatever height I want to be.
I would also hope that maybe Ika, along with Borbo and Trevor, practices band.
Yeah.
Trevor and the Booms.
Oh yeah, absolutely. More music, and Trevor would like. I just want to like reiterate what we discussed in our session 0, where when you do start to open up, maybe one at a time, or maybe at one point, like about your husband and your past and stuff like that, I would like have vowed to see that through.
Aww.
As we had discussed.
Yeah, I would like that a lot. I like that Ika's slowly getting a rapport here, and building up trust. Not that she was always wary of people, but she's just feeling a bit more confident that this journey might actually work out.
Yeah, I think from Rowan, Trevor would really want to learn about life at sea and life on the ship, and also where he came from, because he seems really strong.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. If you ask him about like like a life at sea, life on the ship, the answer, gosh, I haven't been here that long. And he's only been on the the ship for about a year now, helping out.
Fresh eyes.
Fresh eyes. So I think he really bows. It's like I don't have that much experience, and what I can tell you is only what I've done. Which is exactly the ropes this way, or exactly this, exactly that. But when it comes to, if you say like, oh, like where you come from, or like do you like, why do you know how to fight, or whatever it is, Rowan gets a little bit quiet and he says, oh, I'd rather not talk about that as much as possible.
Don't make me read your mind.
You didn't lie to me, did you?
No.
But I think he loses any sense of playfulness or neutrality, and is just outright a little bit gloomy, as you mention it. But I think over the course of the month, as we get a little bit closer together, at some point he mentions, I'm not like the other races. I'm one of the magical beasts and creatures of this land, and that means something a little different around here. Means that I'm the product of an old but new magic. And he'll tug away his toga, like a fabric that he has usually covering his chest, that to not interfere with his wings, and he's got a Genemental stone in the middle of his chest. I'm a Genemental, and I should like to explore the island this time. The captain has promised that after the hard work I've put in, the voyages, I'll have the money and support to try and connect with my homeland. It's what I've been working towards.
Can I touch it?
Yes, it doesn't hurt or anything. It's part of me.
Wow. It seems powerful.
Well, there's a lot of magic inside. The soul, you see, is, I think, connected, and in many ways mine, being part of this Genemental magic now, is calling me forward. I actually have to actively be casting magic in the wind and the sails, because my excitement is getting the better of me, pushing me towards an energetic and fiery countenance.
Everyone's got a story. And these stories, they're going to be told. And they're going to be sung.
I rolled poorly. So you notice that there's something in the story that Rowan hasn't said. He's just kind of left out. But he will leave it.
There's a lot that's been left out in the story.
I'd like to interject again with Ika would maybe kind of not like questioning everyone, but just asking them if maybe they had any leads, and especially with Rowan discovering he has a core too, and her hubby being a Genemental, naturally is inclined to ask if he knew anything about potential whereabouts or who may be involved. But she has a feeling not everyone on this boat is directly involved. So
I think Rowan's just, can you describe him to me? Like, do you have a picture on you or something that you're able to show him to try and
I wonder if she would have I don't think she would carry a picture, but she would describe him as he's a very handsome fella, I might say so myself. A nice honor-looking Genemental of the water and lightning elements, and a researcher for the let me get the name, the fleet there.
The High Wind
Corps.
High Wind Corps. Thank you kindly.
I mean, this ship is with the High Wind Corps, right?
I don't know how I even knew that name.
Can I roll a history check to see if I would remember anyone fitting this description over the course of the last year? Like, if I was on the ship, maybe I would have seen them in passing or something.
Look at that smile.
Do you tell? Okay, wait. Do you only describe Ika? Do you only describe the appearance of your husband, or do you tell him his name?
I feel like she has grown to like Rowan a lot. So keep on the down low, Rowan, but I can't mind him Otto Lee.
All right.
Actually,
So
yes,
you
of course.
can make that history check.
I'll make it then.
I would also like to point out after we do have the roll for our sparring after to see who wins. Courtesy of Shims.
Ika the Spar, Rowan the Spar. Hell yeah. It's not good. There's a -1 for a 10.
10. No, the description. Yeah, maybe you've seen other people with similar-ish features, but the name doesn't ring any bells. It doesn't really stand out to you.
Sorry, I can't quite remember any sort of archery.
It's all good, my friend. Thank you kindly.
But I'll keep an eye out from now on. And I'll keep the name close to the chest, as it were. I like touch where my gem is.
She kind of like reciprocates it with her heart and like nods in what's the word? Approval? Not approval, but she takes it to
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah. Right? Let's roll.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, that's right. We both have
how do
boots.
you want to do this? Is this like a
Oh yeah, should we do like an actual like
mock battle? Or maybe we just try and hit each other's AC like best 2 out of 3.
yeah,
I'm
easy.
seeing that. Did you use your boon, Rowan?
I did not use my boon for history.
Well, yeah,
Shin
that's
said
already.
it was for the spar, so it's
Yeah.
for the spar.
DM, how would you like us to spar?
This is it's non-lethal, right? You guys are just kind of it's sort of like more of a test of strength and feats. You can use whatever you prefer between athletics or acrobatics, and whoever gets the highest.
Ooh, acrobatics, here I come.
Athletics, here I come.
Maybe not. Oh, okay, that's okay.
Wait, I'm also seeing though that Ika has a boon, and so does Tesella.
Okay, hold on. This better be a better roll. Come on,
Yeah.
dice.
The boons for our spar. 22.
You got a 22?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm mad.
You used your boon?
Yeah, I used the boon. They're both
All right.
under 10, so that's 15 for me. Wah, wah. Wait, you said I can use a feature or trait?
Yeah. Right?
Right.
Sure. What are you trying to do?
Not giving up easily, ain't ya?
Yeah, I think it was as Ika like dances around me and it's like and I can't like catch Ika. Maybe I go into a rage to make like a more
Yeah, that gives you a boost to your athletics.
Does he catch her?
natural 20.
Oh.
Wrangling up.
Yeah, that's I think it's describe to me an acrobatic move that you're doing.
I think she's going to take advantage of her strong legs and try to hop over you, perhaps at some point.
Perfect. And as you hop over me, I think in that moment, Ika, you're so caught up in this duel and we're on the deck of the ship that you forget that Rowan has wings, and he just leaps up and like flies basically like forward and just grabs you. I got you.
Oh, mighty weehaw. Let me practice my countryisms, okay?
I think you're doing great.
Thank you kindly. Ooh, re-rolling.
What fun to play catch and mouse.
Cat and mouse scam. You got good humor. And as she dusts herself off after the sparring, she'll reach out a hand or paw.
Rowan will kneel down, and I think each of you will experience this. Rowan is a little bit uncomfortable, or I think he causes discomfort in people where he'll lean down, like put like a hand very gently on your shoulder and take your paw and shake it and look deeply into your eyes with gratitude.
Awkwardness don't bother me none. And she'll just not super roughly, but shake his hand fast.
Absolutely. I think it's like trying to shake a rock.
Yeah. I didn't know there's a strength test too. I'll get you next time.
I'm sure you will.
All right, awesome. Are there any other connections anybody wants to toss out into the bucket?
I would just say that Trevor would maybe want to ask the captain more about his association with Highwind Corps, but only in private.
Okay, yeah. So we'll get to that. If there's nothing else between like the players and the player characters,
There's the bane on Ika now, unfortunately. Sorry.
Oh.
The discrimination.
Oh, Sheriff. Okay, so I do have a few questions for you guys. Borbo, during this time, indeed, I believe that Borbo would have done some fishing, not just for meals, but maybe for his own enjoyment. Describe a few of the fish, maybe some of the battles you've had below the waves. Anything interesting you've caught?
The question is, would the boat be traveling like for? Is there any point where the boat would stop? No, eh?
Yeah.
My question would be like, if I went like fishing like quite deep, wouldn't I just be dragged from the boat? I'm trying to imagine just, because like ideally, like if he had some extra time, he'd be able to he'd be able to dive quite deep. But I wonder that like if he went too deep, he would come back up and then the boat would be gone, kind of thing. So the boat would have to be
tie a rope to you.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, if I were just to guess, I would. It really depends on how deep he would get, but I would hope that he would find there was this. Like, you know that I think it's in Finding Nemo. You know that fish that has the freaking light on it. What is it? An anglerfish.
Anglerfish.
Yeah.
And he definitely caught one of those, and he dissected like the light and to see like what he could do with it and like how it works. That's like for his own hobby thing. It wasn't that he doesn't. I don't think he ate it. He just kind of thought it was quite intriguing how like the light could be produced.
Okay.
Besides that, just a couple of things were killed for a couple of fish were killed for food, and a couple were just for sport. Anything that looked a little too big, he was like he felt a challenge underwater, so he had to let them go. You know.
I see. Yeah, well, that anglerfish in particular, the bulb that you got from it, the little bulb at the front of its head, you've cut it off. You've looked inside, and once you kind of like carved it out, there's kind of this like little sac on the inside, like inside of a membrane, and you can keep that on you. And its properties can, impart some electricity in some way. You have to find a way to use it, but you have this as like an ingredient, so to speak, or a material that you can use to craft something in the future. Yeah,
Borwell has an idea just in the back of his mind. He's like, "What happens if I put this in Trevor's body and turns into like a like a lantern that's up?"
Starts glowing.
Yeah, that's what he thought, but he doesn't know the science behind it. So just a thought.
All right, awesome. Rowan, you got to know, or you kind of made it a point last session to reach out to the other guests, in particular Warren, Nira, and Mabui. Let me make sure I'm saying my own names properly here. Mabui. I believe it was Mabui. Well, I'm having a hard time finding it now. Yes, Mabui Guinea. Do you spend any more time with them aboard the ship? Do you try to get them to know them a little bit better? You kind of hit it off a little bit with Nira. She seemed pretty nice. Mabui seemed like a dick. And Warren didn't really want to chat too much in your first interaction, but he seemed thankful that you gave him those herbs when he was seasick. Would you have taken the time to get to know them further?
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
Absolutely. I think this is the type of thing where if Rowan knows someone's going to be seasick, he'll start preparing like actual doses. So he'll have a few kind of ready. It also clues him in. He's like, oh, one person was sick. Okay, well, the other crewmates might be a little bit as well. So he'll have a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So with that, then you learn a few things about them. Nira is as cheerful and as friendly as ever, but she does eventually tell you that she is a miner, and that she's great with a pick, and that she had mentioned that she grew up in a mountain underground. So this is, she worked at a dock for some time, but now that she's going to Geneset, she heard that there's a bit of a mining scene, a place ripe for collecting, gems and all sorts of metals that are good for trading gold and making a bit of cash. So that's her purpose for coming to the island. It seems like her two companions, Warren and Mabui, are also going there for similar reasons, though they seemed more inclined to be working the docks, Mabui in particular. And although he came off a little bit strong in your first encounter, he actually ends up warming up to everyone. You kind of just learn that he's a bit rough with everybody. And at a certain point, people just stop taking that seriously. They just kind of let him be a bit of a dick. And he never really goes past the point of actually, causing any problems or any sort of altercations. On the other hand, though, Warren, yes?
Point of order, Warren is what mutation and Mabui is what mutation?
Mabui is like half orc. He's got sort of like a pale green complexion. He's got these tiny tusks. They don't come out too strongly, so he's not like if he has other mutations in there, he might have like a whole bunch, and there's sort of just like an amalgamation. He's just a little orcish. Mabui, he looks human. Not Mabui, sorry. Warren looks human. He had a buzz cut, but his hair grows in incredibly quickly over the course of this month. And he's like a chia pet. His head grows out this big green afro by the end of it. And you learn that maybe he has some sort of Fey mutation where his hair grows out as like leaves of a plant, like a mossy type of substance. But the rest of him looks pretty much human. But Warren he's thankful that you give him those herbs, and he doesn't really get over his seasickness the entirety of the journey. It's just not for him. He doesn't enjoy it. But he doesn't really mingle or talk to anybody other than his two companions. He might strike up a tiny bit of conversation with you whenever you hand him the herbs and stuff like that. But for the majority of the trip, he's really kind of keeps to himself and is relatively isolated. Yeah. Let's see. Ika, you've been sort of getting to know the rest of the players, telling them about your husband and your purpose for your journey. And there's another crew member who has a very similar purpose as yours, and you didn't meet him or didn't really talk to him at the start of the adventure. But I think over the course of a month, inevitably, you share a few stories, or rather, he shares with you. And if you would like to share, that's up to you. But this is Sulim Madir. He is the dark purple-skinned individual with sort of veins of blue in his skin, with his kind of very basic beige robes and his large gourd. He was keeping it kind of hidden at the start of the adventure, but now he's a little bit more open with it. He finds it's too much trouble trying to like hide away below deck when no one's around, and during the journey, people are all over the place. The crew members are doing their jobs, and the guests can be anywhere on the ship at any point, really. So he just starts carrying it around with him. He's not really like ashamed of having it on him. He's not really embarrassed to do his prayers anymore. He carries it around with him. And you learn that he's looking for his sister. And he's quite open with it over the course of the month. Even with the others, he had already told Trevor and Borbo about this. And he tells you as well, Ika. And so my question to you is, do you divulge anything about your husband to this individual?
Not particularly his name. She's gonna want to get a read on that first, because I feel like she's not as tight with him as she is with Rowan and the rest. So she's gonna dive into it too. She's gonna try to comfort him as well, and ain't easy trying to find lost ones, but you can't give up. You can't let that stop you. You can't let that any doubt in your mind that you won't be finding them, because then that's when you really give up, and that's when you're really done.
Your words have given me confidence, Ika. Thank you. I'm sure now that I will find my sister. It's been so long. I just hope I can bring her back home. If you don't mind, I would like to say a prayer for you in search of your husband, that you might find him, and that he is safe. And he does his little ritual with his gourd, and he presses it up against his head, and sounds of the water sloshing inside of it. And you also learn that he is also a cleric. So if anybody's been injured, he can also help with Rowan and the healing, department of things.
I think I have to wait for Rowan just grabbed her before. She's gonna need some bones healing. Yeah, she silently lets him, does his prayer, sits in silence, closes her eyes, and after he's done, nods her head and, thank you, that was very blessed of you.
It is my pleasure.
Is it possible for her to glean some info about his sister?
Yeah. If you ask, he will. I think if it's early on in the journey, he's maybe a little bit. He's kind of like you. He doesn't necessarily want to share too much, but I think he opens up quite a bit towards the ends of the adventure. And you learn that her name is Ashagai Kiberi.
Ooh, you're gonna have to spell that for me after.
I will. But he's been looking for her. She went missing quite a while ago. He never divulges exactly where he's from. He says he's from the continent of Ears, but he never specifies exactly where in Ears. He keeps that pretty tight-lipped.
I don't know how famous the Mouse Ranch is on Tantor'In, so I will let you decide if that's something he would be aware of. But it's probably not something she's worried about. It's she's not worried about anyone coming for her family. They're all tough and rough.
You learn that this is basically his first time leaving his homeland. So you tell him about the ranch, and he goes, I left my shores and I went to Tantor'In. I took a boat there and I got onto this boat, and now here I am. I do not know much about the outside world.
Well, whenever you get a chance, Salim, come check out my ranch. We got a nice little tour we can give you. Check out all the cattle and the vegetable garden. Oh man, that vegetable garden.
I'll have to come there. When I find my sister, we'll both visit. You and your husband.
We'll welcome you both with open arms.
Thank you. Awesome. All right. Bernier. You had a question for the captain, so I'm flipping it to you. What did you want to ask him?
Captain, your time with the Highwind Corps. Tell me about it.
You catch him doing one of his signatures, staring off into the horizon at the prow of the ship.
I'll just kind of
Yeah.
roll up next to him.
He gives you a little glance over, and he goes, well, I worked for the Highwind Corps for a little while, but they weren't quite my speed. You see, I needed a life on the ocean. They're always doing research, looking out for things specifically, and they've always got jobs to do. I like doing things my way. And while I technically work for the Highwind Corps, I really work for the Carry-On Company. One of the founders.
What? I'll have to write a song about the Carry-On Company.
Please do.
What do you do besides carrying on?
Lately, that's it, my lad. We carry on, and we carry things on the ship.
Very good.
Yeah. It's a simple life, but it's what I like most.
And this land we're going to, Geneset.
Go on.
Tell me more about this strange magic and the sickness it causes.
Ether sickness. Well, it affects most creatures other than Genementals. The island itself is just swamped with the stuff. You set foot, it's like breathing in an air of magic. Gets into you, starts to change you. I've seen men burst into flames spontaneously. But with your complexion, I don't know how much of an effect it'll have on you.
Blue.
As you're practically made of water already. I'd imagine
More
you'd
of
be
an
fine.
acid, but sure.
Right. Liquid nonetheless.
Kind of half liquid. I don't know.
All right. I don't want to offend.
Is wet wet?
Is water wet?
I'm not water, baby.
Water is wet.
The Ika yelling in the background.
And how does one harness the power of this ether? You said you did research for the Highwind Corps. Did they ever do anything like that?
I did my own research. But it's something you gotta feel. The researchers at the Highwind Corps, they're more interested in creatures and the plants. But me, when I stepped foot on that island, I felt something. Like the ether wasn't just trying to change me, but it was asking me to change it in turn. I took it inside of myself, and I've made it a part of me. These sails don't just fill with the wind that blows over the ocean. I command it, and the waves, and the torches that are lit all night long, even in the rain. That's my doing. When you leave that island, you're either changed by it, or you take a part of it, and you damn change it. And I chose to do just that. Now the elements and the ether, I bend them to my will.
So, does that mean you have one? And I kind of like take a like little gooey arm and put it against this. Not even actually. I'll like grow like another like probe arm like from my chest and like place it on his chest. You know, do you have one here?
He opens his chest and he's just got this like chest of explosive hair on his head. And he just goes, no core. I ain't no Genemental. But you don't have to be. I think most people don't realize that. But when you can hear the ether, I think that's when you know.
Perhaps this is what I was sent for. Well, thank you, Captain.
Anytime. And if you're serious about learning, I can teach you a few things.
I'd be most appreciative of that.
I've always found that those with a musical inclination are a little bit more susceptible to the voice of ether. You'll do good.
Thank you.
And I think with that, my question to you is: Do you take up his offer over the course of the journey? You might take like a few moments with you to
Absolutely.
do sort of like a musical meditation. It's just kind of like freestyles some sort of like whistling tune out to the ocean. He speaks all like cryptic like and poetically about the waves and spritz of the ocean breeze and the way that it feels. And he tries to impart some of his knowledge. A lot of it, which you learn, comes sort of naturally to him. It's very instinctual to him. And he channels the elements through his body. You see in the way that he can leap, many feet in the air, the way he glides gently down on the breeze, the way he can light a fire with the snap of his fingers and, fill the sails with wind and shift the currents at will. It just sort of like comes naturally to him. But he tries his best to teach you some of that. And I think as a bard, with high charisma, some of that's imparted on you. I think more of that might come to light later on. But for now, you just sort of like enjoy his company, make some songs off of it.
Yeah. I'm just adding this to the tales that I'll tell.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right. So all of you over the course of this, you finally, towards the end of your trip, now a little over a month passes, and you all see something on the horizon. Your ship is headed straight for it. There's a structure of some kind and a sound that begins to build like rushing water. You've been out at sea. It's been relatively quiet. You have the sound of the fluttering sails and the waves beneath the ship. But now you're getting like almost like rapids, a rolling sound. And off in the distance, that structure emerges as the ship approaches. Two large structures, like massive buoys of two towers just out in the ocean. And as you approach, you notice that you're coming up to the edge of a massive divide in the ocean, a waterfall. As the waves of the ocean roll over the edge of this thing in the distance, up on the crow's nest, a Genemental that has been on the ship this entire time that has not moved from his spot. A bird-like Genemental with black and white feathers and a large bill, has been sitting stoically, practically unmoving, hasn't really eaten or drank anything, just meditating, finally stands up and leaps off the crow's nest and begins gliding out towards the structure in the distance. The captain calls out, Attention, everyone! Get up here on the deck! I gotta tell you something. We're approaching the island. And everyone starts scurrying up on board.
Captain.
Everyone stops what they're doing to join him. And he goes, we're approaching the fortress. Now don't panic. Before you'll see a ravine as deeper than anything you've ever noticed in your entire life. This is perfectly normal. And those who have been on the ship before, those who have come to Geneset before, have done this before. What you see in the image is a huge waterfall in the middle of the ocean. The structure ahead of you begins to open up. This massive net begins to get dragged out across the divide, and the ocean water begins to spill into the net, but it doesn't fall through the massive gaps. It kind of just sits there like with some sort of strange surface tension, and it just sort of billows out, and this huge bridge of water is created over the divide. On the other side, two massive ships, easily quadruple the size of the ship that you're on, begin to pull that net out across, and the ship, the Curionimbus, begins to sail over the divide. You're looking down off the side of the ship. Endless blackness below, just the sound of pure rushing water as it falls over either side of the edge of this divide, deafening essentially everything around you. And about halfway through, there's a sudden shadow that blocks out the sun but for a moment, and a figure comes crashing onto the prow of the ship. A large, round creature crashes down with this big, round belly. And the ship kind of bobs with his landing. And he looks up, and you see this tiny little frog head on this giant round body, his arms holding up his massive belly, the front of which is entirely covered in stone. There's a cold mist billowing off of his shoulders and creates almost like a shawl of icy mist. And you see these tiny little slit frog eyes kind of look at you, and in a very, very intimidating voice, you hear the frog go, "Captain Clipper."
No.
"Barge, me lad, it's been too long." And he walks over to him and he goes to give him a hug, but he's a tiny dwarf, and this thing is almost the size of Borbo, a little bit smaller, let's say 10 feet, 10 feet tall. He goes,
5 feet wide.
Yeah, he kind of tries to wrap as much of his arms around him. He's got his face pressed up against his belly. He gives him a big slap. And he goes, right, you don't even have to ask, Barge. I've got them ready this time. And he slaps all of the passes that all of the guests have given him, along with all sorts of other sorts of papers that he has with him. And if you guys would like, standing there on the deck, you can make perception checks if you're interested in any of the other papers that he's holding in his hand.
I will, because I want to get rid of that freaking brain.
Yeah, oh, smart.
I failed my real life perception check. What was his name again? The frog?
Barge.
6.
Okay, you don't notice it.
Get
He's
rid of
waving
that
around.
skull.
You can't really see anything.
From my perspective, I only see like his belly. That's it.
Yeah. You see his belly and maybe just the hat of the captain.
Who blocked out the sun?
It's Borbo.
He's standing in front of you.
Oh, where are you at?
You hear their voices. They're talking to each other. Everyone on the deck is sort of just standing there. And you hear some splashes as 4 individuals from the water come up onto the ship. They kind of jump out of the water and onto the deck of the ship. These are 4 Genementals, 2 of which look identical. They're twins of some kind. They look like seagulls. They've got these yellow bills, these white, their bodies are mostly white with little stripes of orange in them. And they've got these orange feet, these webbed feet. They've got these satchels and this gear, sort of like this tight leather armor of some kind, accentuated by these white crystals. And if anybody would like, you can make an Arcana check to see if you know what they are.
Yeah.
Oh. Why do I have a +2 in Arcana? 13.
5.
5. You said 13. 13.
Oh, wait.
They're adorned in salt. It's like salt crystals. It's like these big salt crystals.
Oh, he's one of those loons with the gems.
But because this was an Arcana check, the salt is giving off like a sense of water magic, or water ether specifically, which you are quite familiar with, Ika.
And intrigued.
Mm-hmm. So the two seagulls kind of they just sort of walk around, and this is fairly standard. They're just sort of taking a look at the crew, and they're soldiers of some kind that follow Barge's orders. The other two, one of them is kind of like a hammerhead shark. And he's got these big stone, he's got like multiple fins on his back made of stone. And then the other one is, he looks like a platypus. Kind of this like platypus gentleman, kind of like a bowling pin shaped silhouette, very bottom heavy, with this big flat bill. Mostly like black fur, and but you do see that each of them are Genementals. They all have cores, and they all have a particular blue glow in their cores. They're kind of all keeping an eye on you guys. The captain and Barge are talking up on the deck, and there's a kind of just a moment here where they're chatting, and you guys are up on the deck. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I'd like to check my pocket watch to see if there's any changes to my Chris compass. I forgot what it was called.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you take a look at it, over the course of this journey, it's fluctuated. Some days it's looked worse. Some days it's looked better. Whatever's happening, like, it's still pointing you towards your husband. But the energy that it's giving off depends on the day.
Right.
I'll approach one of the seagulls.
Mm-hmm.
Not a twin, specifically. Or actually, no. Yes, a twin.
they're both twins.
Oh, okay. I thought there was 4 of them.
No, there's two of them. The twins are both seagulls.
Okay.
And there's a platypus and
Right.
a hammerhead shark.
Right. Okay. I'll approach one of the twins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello, sir.
Hello.
I'll hit the goop tam so it goes, hello. Wonderful.
Do that again.
Hello. Ha, 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 ha. Hello.
And he nudges his brother. And the other one kind of looks and just goes back to scanning the rest of the group. Doesn't seem too amused.
Mine.
I'm Trevor Boone, but you can call me Goop Daddy.
Goop Daddy? That's a name. Your mother named you that?
Someone's mother.
What?
All right. I don't have a mother, so I don't have anything to worry about.
How could that be? No mother.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. No mother, no father.
Well, why don't you enlighten me on what I don't know?
Genemental, like egg. Open up. They pop out.
Do these seagulls have like fingers to show this?
Yeah, they've got like
flapping.
falco fingers, you know.
Oh,
Like,
okay, okay.
the feathers are larger at the extremities, and maybe they've got like hands sort of buried in there, but you
Right,
can't
right.
really tell. So they're just like motioning with these big wings.
But what hatched the egg?
The other one kind of like grabs his brother's bill, and he goes, "Really? You need a whole lesson right now." He kind of breaks free, and he goes, "I want to tell him.
I'm curious.
We were birds, and then we were eggs, and then we opened up, and then we were Genementals."
So
brother
you
kind
do
of, like, walks
have a mother
away.
so you do have a mother and father.
Eh,
They're just still birds.
yeah, I guess so. Never knew him.
Do you miss your bird life?
Never knew it.
You never knew, or you forgot.
Is there a difference?
Of course.
But not for me.
Well, fair enough.
Hey,
And your stunning raiment.
wait, what?
I like kind of goop around his armor.
Oh,
Where did you procure this whatever you call it?
I was gifted by the salt sirens.
Cool.
Here, but I like you. I will give you some salt. And he reaches into his pouch and he pulls out a little salt crystal, puts it into your hand.
Like travels up to like into my body, and then it comes out like a little like probe, like holds it in front of my face. Very cool. What does it do? It tastes salty.
It is very salty, but it won't dissolve. Special salt. Channels the power of the ocean. Lets you swim very good.
Can I try to get a sense of it somehow through the same techniques maybe that good old Captain was bestowing upon me with his wisdom?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
I'd love to make you. I'd be smitten. Make you an Arcana check of 12.
12. Okay. So you hear like the faintest, because it's quite a small crystal, the faintest like whistling sound in your mind, something similar to what like the captain would whistle out into the ocean. It's like the sound of the ocean, basically, of the sea, emanates from the crystal. By itself, the way you're holding it and concentrating on it, it doesn't seem to amplify it in any sort of way. You just get that sort of small little melody playing in your mind.
Okay. I try to recreate the melody as best I can using the Goop Tum Tom. And I've, of course, would have probably recorded some of the whistling throughout the month.
Yeah. So the actual audible whistling that the captain was doing was kind of like this dissonant whistle, but the particular sound of the ether is like something
It's beyond
the
sound.
senses
Yes,
of
course.
sound. Yeah.
Of
So
course.
you're playing out the whistling, and I think that because you channel your magic through your music, you're able to kind of generate almost like a resonance in the crystal. And so it begins to like, even though you can't really hear it, it's in your mind. There's kind of like this harmony that starts to form between like the sound of the crystal and the sound of your music.
Beautiful. I will listen. The Goop Tom Tom is made of the same material as me, so for the most part. So I just I take the crystal out of my own body and I put it in the Goop Tom Tom.
Awesome. Yeah, and you'll find that like anytime you like make noises, like a little bit of that ether sound comes through.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and a few others of you can hear it as well. Borbo, you have a trained ear, in particular for air and water ether, and Rowan, you speak primordial, so you hear it as well. This continues on for like a little while. The captain and barge speak a little bit more. But for now, we're going to move away. We're going to go back over to Tesla. As you are making your way. No, that's why I corrected myself. Like, no, I don't want it to
Her
sound like
stocks are
Tesla.
dropping.
No. As you
How
make your
dare
way
you?
over to the fortress.
She is an electric car.
I'm sorry.
I'm a lightning bug, not car.
And you're on fire. Ha!
Show, I'm on fire.
Wait, was this on purpose?
No, it is now.
So you are making your way over to the fortress. It's a bit of a flight to get there. And on your way, you hear a voice call out to you as you're just flying over the sea. Hey, little one, over here. And you spot a little boat just out in the sea. It's kind of a sweaty looking man sitting in the boat.
Roll over and. Hello?
Yes, you come down.
I don't know if he would be able to discern the stink eye, but there's some severe stink eye happening as she flies on over.
All right. As you approach, he's there. He's got a little fishing rod out into the water. He's hunched over. He's this kind of like bluish man with sort of these like spots on his skin from sitting out in the sun too long. He looks relatively, other than the blue skin, like human-ish. He's got kind of like this big beard. It's kind of got like a furrowed brow. He's sitting there with his rod, and he looks relatively sweaty. At this point, though, it's night. The sun has set. He's fishing out at night all by himself, out in the middle of nowhere. And he looks up at you and he goes, "You know, it's dangerous to be out here at night." What?
She's just gonna start getting fiery. This guy's giving off weird vibes. Yeah, and you stopped me from moving. Is there something wrong? Like every end of the sentence is just like more flamey.
He's kind of like sticks his rod between like his behind his knee, kind of like squeezes it there and just holds it with his leg. And he kind of looks up at you and splashes some water at you. He goes, "Don't get hot with me. This boat's made of wood."
Do I have to dodge the water?
You want to try and dodge it?
I'd like to dodge the water, please.
All right, make a dex save.
15?
15?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a boon.
know we're going with 15. Is that enough, or are you gonna make? That's not fair. I'm doing 15's enough. Don't tell me that 15's not enough.
Are you gonna use the boot?
No.
You get splashed.
Yeah.
No.
You
This
splash
feels like a
Damn
it.
microaggression.
I think that's racist.
It very much racially driven.
Hey, that's the Genemental way. Wait a minute. Maybe not.
Oh.
Let's take that back. But he does splash you. He tells you to calm down. He goes, "You listen to me. You understand? Out here, it's been bad. No, you shouldn't be out here. There's something in the water." He starts reeling in a little bit.
Okay, so why are you out here? And why are you not on the shore? And why would you stop me if it's dangerous? I need to get to the fortress. Like this is, I can't get hot next to your fire. You told me not. You told me to come over. You could see that I'm fire, and you're gonna get mad at me. She's gonna like fly back slightly. Don't smash me.
Just a warning, little lady.
So what is it? What's out here? You can tell me that.
You don't hear it? She's angry. She's got a stomachache. She ate something real bad. And she's cold, too. Well, it ain't good. I'll be fine. But you be careful.
Okay, but no, I don't hear it. Should I be listening for something? Should I fly high?
Yeah. Fly high. Hey, wait. You look like you're about to take off, but... And he hands you this giant goldfish. He's got like a little box behind him. Flips it open. Grabs it. It's in an ice box.
Is this a cracker or an actual goldfish?
That's a very good question.
It's an actual goldfish.
I'm
Inquiring
okay.
minds.
Yeah. It's an actual goldfish.
Kind of disappointed.
How are you?
Me? I'm just a fisherman. Now go on before you burn my boat. Does look a little splashy.
Okay. And she's just like two arms wrapped around the goldfish, giant goldfish, and tries to zip off as quickly as she can. How giant comparatively?
The goldfish is like a foot bigger than you.
Oh damn.
Yeah. It's pretty big.
This is a very large goldfish. It's frozen?
No, I mean, it's cold, but it's not frozen.
Using it out of ice box, so I didn't know if it was like literally frozen in ice. So, all right. So I'm just holding a wet and cold dead goldfish. Ew.
Yeah, well, you think it's dead, and then you start flying up, and all of a sudden, it starts flopping.
Okay. What is this? What are you doing? Stop!
Make me an athletics.
I like that one. That makes me feel better. 22.
22? Yeah, that
22.
That fish ain't going anywhere.
Stay here, fish.
As you're carrying it, though, at a certain point, it stops flopping.
Aw.
It just, yeah. But you carry the fish with you, and as you're flying out over the sea, you see the fortress in the distance, the two ships that make up the fortress. And you know it's called Bacal-Yal Fortress. These two massive ships. Their masts are trees with canopies of clouds and great billowing flames at the top of each cloud. The roots of the trees kind of wrap around the hulls of the ship. And you begin to approach. I am going to end the session here.
Oh!
I before he even brought me back, I was like, Shadi needs to come in once. I knew it was gonna happen. Felt it in my soul.
So that's what we're going to call it. With you arriving to the fortress and the ship crossing the divide, passing between the two ships that make up the fortress. And we will pick up there next time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Excellent. EXP.
Hey, Rowan and I sparred.
You did spar. You know what? It's I'll give you guys XP. I'll give you guys the allotted allowance. Everybody gets 300 XP.
Wow.
Yeah, it's measly this time. I'm sorry. It's
Not me
measly.
going into character builder to change myself to EXP.
Oh shit! Yeah, am I set to? Whoops!
Milestone.
Yeah.
I forgot that Peter does EXP.
EXP. And yes, please continue to remind me about EXP at the end of each session. Though it'll be much easier for me to remember when there's encounters. Anyways, great session, everybody. That
Hell
was
yeah.
great. Even despite the spillage, I had a great time.
Entertaining. It was entertaining.
Beautiful. And next time, hopefully we get to introduce Shadim's character.
I wish we'd get to introduce Wish.
A wish that hopefully comes true.
When?
Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and thank you to my lovely players. You can catch the next session of Geneset Rising next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. But before that, make sure to stop by Tuesday to catch the next session of Dimensionauts Bloodlines. And I just want to confirm that it is Dimensionauts Bloodlines, correct?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
That's, as of right now, that's what it is.
Beautiful. So yeah, be sure to follow us on YouTube and TikTok for all our VODs and our shorts, and make sure to join the Discord if you haven't already. A link will be posted in chat. Have a good night, everybody. We're the Hexagon, and we are Hexagon.
Bye bye.
Get trash.